Good morning. Welcome to another day of vlogmas. We're starting it in the dark today because I really hope you can hear that my neighbor's dogs start barking. At 6:30 in the morning, they stopped. Yeah, as soon as I hit record, they stopped. So maybe that's the trick. I just hit record and let my phone record all morning. In other news, Cooper is snuggled up next to me right now. And in the morning, I like to play with his paws. And so I thought I was reaching for his paw. But no, I was playing with his nose. But he let me do it. Yeah, so that's my report for the morning. I'll see you guys when I'm awake. It is 6:40 in the morning, and I slept terribly. I'm exhausted, and I don't feel very good. My stomach hurts really bad. Cooper thinks we should stay in bed today. All right, here's the fit. We have a hoodie that says unfiltered on it, which is the description of my life. Black pants and my new Vans. Obviously, they're bright white. I buy a new pair of white Vans every year on Black Friday because I wear them almost every single day of my life. So I wear the crap out of them. Here, hold on. Here's last year's pair of Vans. So I think I can justify buying one pair of new Vans a year. As you can see, Coop, he's still not feeling it. I took some nausea medicine, so I'm starting to come around. And I'm gonna slowly start to get ready. I have to go into the office today, and then that'll be my last day this week. So I'm gonna get ready for that. Well, I'm officially out of plastic forks, so what are the odds that I remember to get one when I get to the office today? I need to get Coop a scoop of food, which I have to open a new bag of dog food, and that's pretty much it. It's almost 7, so I will be on time today. My boss was a little sassy with me yesterday. I was late. So I'll show up on time today. I just parked at work. I picked up donuts this morning for my team. Not necessarily for me. I don't feel the greatest, but for my team. So I'm gonna bring those in and do my work day. Hello. I've been sitting in traffic for 40 minutes to make a 20-minute drive, and I'm late for my appointment that I really need to go to. So I'm headed to a doctor's appointment. It's a really important appointment, and fingers crossed that they'll let me in. I'm gonna be about 15 minutes late. So my dad's waiting for me there, and as soon as I get there, I'm just gonna hustle and try to make it. Well, today has turned out much differently than I thought it would. I was stressed about my doctor's appointment, and now I'm driving to Orlando, which for those who don't live here is about, well, honestly, it could be any amount of time of drive, but I'm driving about an hour to meet my brother. What a day, what a day. A lot to update, but basically my doctor's appointment went really well. Have a follow-up in 6 months, but so far so good. I feel really good about it, and it just helped relieve a lot of stress that I was having. I just got home from Orlando. It is, I don't know, maybe 8:30 p.m., somewhere around there. What a day. An unexpected one, honestly. So I'm going to wash my face, get changed, and then kind of debrief the last several hours of my life. Editing Rachel here. So I thought this would be a good place to include the update that I filmed. So I kind of talked about the last several months, what's been going on, why I had to stop filming YouTube videos back in March. I think it was back in March was the last time I filmed, and how I became a homeowner. So I thought this would be a good place to put in that update, and then after that I'll include the update from my latest doctor's appointment because I think that makes the most sense timeline wise. So just wanted to jump in so it wasn't too confusing. It has been a while since I turned on my camera. I think I filmed some videos back in March that were never edited and uploaded, and then everything went crazy. So I have not filmed or done anything since then. Let's get into it. So a quick recap on life, because if you've watched any of my previous videos, you might notice we are in a different location now. And honestly, a lot has changed. A lot happened this year. So back in March when I was filming my content and honestly having the time of my life doing it, I was also getting sick. I didn't quite know what was going on. In February, I started getting really nauseous often. Actually, that's a lie. In January, which is crazy because it's December now, but in January, I started just feeling nauseous on and off, and it would make me sick, and I just wasn't really sure what was going on. It started to get worse in February. I posted this lovely picture on Instagram with the captions like, "It's been the worst week of my life." Little did I know that was simply not true. But at the time it was. I was so sick and so nauseous, and I didn't know what was going on. Fast forward to the end of March. In March is when I stopped filming and posting YouTube videos because my symptoms were getting worse. I wasn't only nauseous, it was causing me, I had trouble eating because it was making me so sick. I just was having a lot of symptoms. I don't really want to expose my whole life on the internet, but it wasn't going well for me. And then, so I started going through all this testing, through April. No one really knew what was going on. And then at the end of April, I was basically curled up in the fetal position in my bed at my parents' house, and I just wasn't sure how I was going to be able to function enough to go to work. And, you know, I have very lovely and very supportive parents, and we made the decision that I just could not. I was not in a position where I could even get out of bed at that point. I was in so much pain all of the time. My stomach felt like someone had their fist around it and was just constantly squeezing it, if that makes sense. It was just a lot of pain. But during this time, I was also trying to graduate with my master's. I was set to graduate in May. So I had my thesis due. I had my capstone due. There was a lot going on in April that needed to get done. I was also in the Wattpad creators program, so I had deadlines to meet that were getting a little testy. And so it was a very rough time during those few months that I was trying to meet deadlines, but also was simply living on soup and smoothies and getting sick constantly and really unable to leave my bed most days. I actually filmed a vlog in April that never got posted because I never edited it. But it was me on I call it the last day I felt good, which was Earth Day. I took my dog out, and then I proceeded not to be able to get off the bathroom floor for the next 24 hours, and the vlog just ends with me sobbing, which is why it never got posted. But that was pretty much it for me. For the month of May, I lived at my parents' house. I was not able to go to work. I was not able to function, and nobody could figure out why this was happening to me. I couldn't keep food down. It didn't really seem to matter what kind of food. I just could not seem to get it together, basically. And so throughout this time, I was seeing 1,000 different doctors. I was seeing specialists. I was doing every test that I thought I should possibly do. I have never been to I'm sure I have as a child, but as an adult, I've been to the emergency room twice. Once for a 3-day migraine, and then once for an ovarian cyst. And so I went to the emergency room 3 times during this process because I simply could not figure it out, and I was in so much pain. They were not able to figure it out either. And so at the end of May, I did graduate with my master's, which was surprising to everyone. I didn't think I could do it, but I did. I look back on that time and it makes me a bit sad because I was on so much pain medication. I didn't get to enjoy the time that I was there during my graduation, and I didn't get to celebrate getting something I worked 3 years for and worked really hard for. And my brother also graduated during that time. So he graduated with his bachelor's, I graduated with my master's, and I didn't get to celebrate him either. I had to leave his graduation party. I had to leave his graduation dinner. It was a horrible time. And so I look back on that time and it makes me a bit sad. But fast forward toward the end of May, I simply couldn't take another month off of work. I was unpaid during that time, and I blew through my savings, and my parents are wonderful and they were helping me out, but of course they can't sustain my life and their own. I went back to work part-time, so I was in and out of the office and doing the best I could, working from home. And it was rough. I was still seeing specialists. I was begging doctors to test me. And as a last resort, I went and saw my primary care physician. And I was like, nobody can figure out what's wrong with me. And I am miserable. And he was like, well, nobody tested your gallbladder. I was like, well, they told me in the emergency room they tested my gallbladder and it was fine. And he said, well, they scanned it, but they didn't actually do the full test. And I don't want to describe the rage I felt in that moment, but it was a lot because I had done every test in the book known to man. And nobody had thought to test my gallbladder except my primary care physician. And that was the problem. That was it. That was what had literally incapacitated me for months, was the fact that my gallbladder had simply decided it was done. It didn't want to do its job anymore. So I ended up meeting with a couple of different surgeons. I got some bad vibes from I won't go into too much story time on the surgeons. But the surgeon I ended up going with, I am appreciative of, and he ripped my gallbladder out, and I ended up having to be admitted to the hospital for complications. Here's a photo of me post-surgery. Is ugly. I had an allergic reaction to what? We don't know. That's another thing I've been experiencing, is random allergic reactions with nothing. There's no rhyme or reason for them. But that's a different story. So, but I did make it home, and I had a really rough recovery, of course. I had complications, but we made it through those. And so I would say halfway through October, so I had my gallbladder taken out in July, and about halfway through October, I finally was back up on my feet. I was feeling my best. Not my best, but I was feeling myself again. That brings us to my living situation. If you follow me on social media, you would know that last year, so a year ago now, on November 11th, 2022, my grandmother passed. And I wasn't sure how much of this story I really wanted to share on the internet, and I am going to keep it very brief. But when she passed, she had a condo in her name. And so after some back and forth, my dad did end up receiving the deed to the condo. And so the original plan was to sell it and to use those funds for other things. But the condo was in, we'll call it disarray. There had been a flood last year in the condo that had never been repaired. So it had never been addressed. The money was used for other things, and so the walls were full of molds. The electric needed addressing, to put it lightly. There was just when I wrote it all down, it was a 3-page list, front and back, of issues that needed to be addressed, and we simply could not sell it. It was on the market until April of this year, and it was not being sold. because it couldn't pass inspection. And so I decided it was either going to go into foreclosure or someone was going to need to take on a project. And so I decided that I wanted to take on the project because this was my grandmother's home, and also I didn't have a home. I lived in an apartment. So I don't think we realized how big of an undertaking the project was. It has been quite the project. We started this undertaking in February, so we started filing the paperwork for the deed in February, but we left the house up on the market, you know, in case it sold. But we officially took it off the market in April. And then I got so sick that it just wasn't feasible for me to be able to work on the house. And that is where, again, my incredibly supportive parents step in, and they were here every weekend without me. They were here every weekend working on this condo until I started coming in August, and I was able to paint most days. If you can tell on this wall behind me, this is a painted wall. It's one of the only painted wall. It is the only painted wall in the living room. But we primed all the walls. It's just the paint. It's the bane of my existence. But yeah, we were painting, building furniture, ripping down walls, months. We were working on this for months. But my lease was up in my apartment in mid-October, which is also coincidentally when I started to finally get back up on my feet, really. I had some wonderful medication intervention, and it was like night and day for me. It's amazing what's out on the market. So I was able to finally start doing the hard work, which the hard work was scrubbing the floors. You would not believe what was on these floors. It was paint, surprise, surprise. And I hand scrubbed these floors, and I'm not done. It took me weeks, and I'm not done. But that's just my bone to pick. But in mid-October, I had to move in. There was nowhere else for me to go. My lease was up, and this is my house. My name is on the house. It is my house. So I moved in here, and it is my little project house. So as I am filming Vlogmas, you will see boxes. You will see unfinished walls. You will see no baseboards. 2 closets have baseboards, but other than that, no baseboards. This is a 3-bedroom house, so 2 of the bedrooms, 1 is my bedroom, 1 is an office, and 1 is a construction room. So that's where we keep all the construction equipment that we are using to fix the house. But eventually, it's going to be my library and a sunroom. So all my bookshelves are back there, as well as an assortment of furniture and tools and equipment and baseboards. You know, living in a construction zone hasn't been ideal, but it's not the worst. And it has definitely been a learning curve, but we're getting there. So right now, our biggest tasks are finishing painting, which is a big one because I can't hang anything on the walls, or finish unpacking my boxes until we do, and then baseboards so that it looks like a house instead of an unfinished project. So those are the 2 things we're currently working on. My personal project is also dressers. So I did take my grandmother's dressers that she had here. However, they are in need of some TLC. There's candle wax on them. They're a little, one of them is just broken a little bit. So one of my hobbies used to be finishing furniture before the hell year that I had. So I have a couple of dressers out in the construction room for me to work on. So hopefully during Vlogmas, I can finish the dressers and finally put my clothes away instead of living out of boxes everywhere in a box hell. But that is the very long update that I have. I think I've been filming for close to 20 minutes now. I don't think all of this will be in the video, but yeah, that's the current situation. So to recap, I had gallbladder surgery, had complications, am recovering now, pretty recovered, I think, and am living in a construction house. I just got home. It's 8:30 p.m. So I've been away from my house for over 12 hours and I'm exhausted. I am so tired. There is no way I'm editing a vlogmas tonight, so that's a problem for tomorrow as far as I'm concerned. Oh gosh, I think the last time I gave an update, honestly, I don't know. I just don't. I had a doctor's appointment today. It was a really important appointment. Now that it's over, I can like give some more details because I know like what's going on. But the appointment today was to evaluate if I needed a second surgery, which as of right now has been determined the answer is no. And I'm really thankful because we actually have a game plan now. As of like most of this year, the plan has been to throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks. But basically just try a bunch of different things and see if anything works. And I mean, the plan semi-worked so far. I'm definitely more of a functioning human than I was able to be earlier this year. But I'd say I'm like at 75-80% now, which is like I was functioning at like 10% back in April. So, you know, steps. We're making steps, that is for sure. It was a good appointment today. Good start with a new doctor. Happy with the way that went. And then when I was headed home, and like my plan originally was that I was going to come home and build my entertainment center, which has been sitting in a box for almost 3 months. Right? 2 months. It's been 2 months, almost 3. And then my brother called, and his girlfriend, it wasn't feeling well. She was sick. And back when I was sick, I had borrowed some things from her. And so obviously now she's down and out. And so I, of course, was like, absolutely. So I met him halfway to do a trade-off. And yeah, in Orlando. So it was an hour drive there and an hour, well, honestly, it was about 45 minutes there and then an hour back. So not the worst, but certainly not how I thought I'd spend my evening. So I'm finally home. And like I slept maybe 5 hours last night, and obviously I was up doing vlogmas, and I'm just fully exhausted. Like, it was already a stressful day because I had this big appointment, and like my dad went with me, and like we knew it was going to be like a big thing. And then afterwards, I thought I would come home, do my laundry for the trip I'm supposed to be driving, like leaving my house tomorrow for, and then flying out on Thursday and building an entertainment center, and none of that happens. I have not done laundry. In fact, I left my whole ass suitcase at my parents' house. Yeah, what a day. That's the bottom line. It was a day. So tomorrow, the vibe is that we absolutely have to do laundry and pack. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be, my original plan was that I was going to drive to Orlando after work tomorrow and stay with my brother, and then after work on Thursday he would take me to the airport. Obviously now things are a little bit up in the air because his girlfriend is sick and they live together, so it just depends. I'm gonna play it by ear tomorrow. Also, they were gonna keep Cooper for me. So that's also a little bit up in the air right now. But all that to say, it is 8:30 p.m. and I would really like to go to bed. So I'm gonna start winding down. There's a bunch of YouTube videos that have been posted this week that I simply have not watched. So I'm thinking I can watch a couple videos, sort of just wind down a little bit, as I said, and then hopefully I can get a good night's sleep because I really need it. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. I don't even think I've said what my plan is for the week, other than like I'm traveling. But I'm going to a premiere for My Life with the Walter Boys. My Life with the Walter Boys is a book written by my friend Ali Novak, who is amazing, and it has been made into a Netflix show, which premieres on Thursday. Whoop, 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 whoop. And so I will be flying out Thursday night and meeting up with her and then a bunch of our friends, and we're going to a premiere on Saturday. So that's super exciting. I cannot wait, and I'm just super excited for her. She really deserves this. She was one of my very first friends on Wattpad, one of honestly my very first friends, period. I had a really hard time making friends at that point in my life, and Allie and I just really clicked. I was a fangirl, let me be honest. I was such a big fangirl, and I fanned so hard when she noticed me, and then we just became friends after. So yeah, I'm super excited to get to go out to Wisconsin and see her. I haven't seen her since pre-COVID, so we used to do yearly meetups with our friend group. Although our last yearly meetup was 2019. That's a lie. We did a meetup for the release of Ariana Godoy's movie, which was Through the Window. That's so embarrassing that I can't remember the title right now. I'm so tired. But we did a meetup for a premiere for that, and so that was that last year? I think that was last February. But that was, again, just a quick weekend trip like I'm doing this time. So yeah, it'll be a quick little weekend trip. I fly out Thursday night and fly back Sunday night. So I'm super excited to see everyone and to get to hang out. I think some of them are staying a little bit longer. I just wasn't able to. So everyone's texting right now because I put in the group chat asking what the vibe is for the fits, so I know what to bring. But also it's like 20 or 30 degrees there, and I live in Florida, so I'll simply just be wearing a huge jacket and shivering to death, I think. But yeah, that's the plan. So tomorrow my dad is gonna bring over my suitcase because I forgot it. So on his way to work tomorrow, he's gonna drop it off. And then I'm gonna do the whole packing thing. Honestly, my suitcase is still packed from September. That seems like a problem for tomorrow. And honestly, the suitcase isn't even here, so it's definitely a problem for tomorrow. I have been filming for 10 minutes, just gabbing. So I think this is where I'm going to end it. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed this. I don't even know what kind of clips I could have possibly filmed today. But whatever it was, I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys tomorrow for some packing content. Woo-hoo. And hopefully some Mitch and Val content. I am super excited. So thanks for watching. And as I messed up my outro, but I'm tired, so good night.